welcome to my new video. Today's topic of our video is ammonia metabolism, and we will discuss it in detail, and link of slides on this topic for your preparation is given in the description below. Thank you. Let's start.
Bismillah Rahman Rahim. The next topic regarding protein metabolism is the metabolism of ammonia. Ammonia is produced by all tissues during the metabolism of a variety of compounds, and it is di- disposed of primarily by a formation of urea in the liver. However, the level of ammonia in the blood must be kept very low because even slightly elevated concentrations are toxic for the central nervous system. Therefore, there must be a metabolic mechanism by which nitrogen is moved from peripheral tissues to the liver for ultimate disposal as urea. At the same time, maintenance of low levels of circulating ammonia is occurred. Now, the question, what are the sources of ammonia inside the body? There are basically four major sources of ammonia. One from glutamine. Second one is the bacterial action in the intestine also provides ammonia for disposal. Third one is the amines, and fourth one is the catabolic pathway of purines and pyrimidines, genetic material catabolism. In glutamine form, the kidneys generate in first source, the kidneys generate ammonia from glutamine by action of renal glutaminase and glutamate dehydrogenase. These are two enzymes. In the second phase, from bacterial action in the intestine also provide ammonia for disposal. Ammonia is formed from urea by the action of bacterial urease in the lumen of the intestine. When urea is formed inside the body, human body, majority major quantity of the ammonia is really excreted from the body in urine, but some amount of urea reabsorbed and it come into the intestine, and from this intestine there are some bacteria which convert urea into ammonia, and this ammonia again enter into the body circulation. And the third source is the amines. Amines obtained from the diet, and monoamines that serve as a hormones or neurotransmitter give rise to the ammonia by the action of amine oxidase. Fourth source of ammonia is purines and pyrimidines. These are two nitrogenous bases of nitrogen bases. Purines contain two nitrogen bases, and pyrimidines also contain two nitrogen bases, four nitrogen bases, which are the constituent of genetic material DNA. In catabolism of purines and pyrimidines, amino groups attached to the rings are released by ammonia. And after the formation of ammonia, it is transported into the circulation. Transport of ammonia in the circulation, although ammonia is constantly produced in the tissues, it is present at very low levels in the blood. This is due both to the rapid removal of blood ammonia by the liver and the fact that several tissues, particularly muscles, release amino acids nitrogen in the form of glutamine or alanine rather than as free ammonia. Urea. Formation of urea in the liver is quantitatively the most important disposal route of ammonia. Urea travels in the blood from the liver to the kidneys, where it is passes into the glomerular filtration. Glutamine. This amide of glutamate provides a non-toxic storage of transport from ammonia. The ATP requiring formation of glutamine from glutamate and ammonia by glutamine synthetase occur primarily in skeletal muscles and liver, but is also important in the central nervous system, where it is a major mechanism for the removal of ammonia in the brain. Glutamine is formed in plasma at concentrations higher than the other amino acids, a finding consistent with its transport functions. In the next step, if we summarize the transport of ammonia from peripheral tissues in the form of glutamate and alanine into the liver, and the release of ammonia back into the liver to start the urea cycle, this is the whole diagrammatical presentation of these reactions. And ultimately, all ammonia from the body convert into urea again and again and remove from the body. Now the question, this is a very important question regarding UHS, University of Health Sciences, for medical MBBS and DPT second year questions, BDS students. Why ammonia is toxic to brain? The answer of this question is that urea cycle disorder is characterized by hyperammonemia, encephalopathy, and respiratory alkalosis. Ammonia is toxic to the brain in part because it reacts with alpha ketoglutarate to form glutamate. The resulting depletion of the level of alpha ketoglutarate then impair the function of the tricarboxylic acid cycle in neurons. Moreover, astrocytes tend to clear ammonia by a process involving in the conversion of glutamate to glutamine. This excess glutamine cause an osmotic imbalance and shift the fluid into these cells. Hence, cerebral edema occur. Moreover, glutamate and its derivatives, that is GABA, gamma aminobutyric acid, are important neurotransmitters. Some of the features of ammonia toxification are attributed to the depletion of these neurotransmitters. And the other major important question regarding ammonium metabolism, what is the hyperammonemia? Write down the major types of hyperammonemia. Hyperammonemia, it is a metabolic disturbance characterized by an excess of ammonia in the blood. It is a dangerous condition that may lead to brain injury and ultimately death. It may be primary or secondary. Ammonia is a substance that contains nitrogen. It is a product of catabolism of protein. The capacity of the hepatic urea cycle exceeds in the normal rates of ammonia generation, and the level of serum ammonia are normally low, 3 to 5 to 35. However, when liver function is compromised to the either genetic defects of the urea cycle or liver diseases, blood levels can raise above 1000 units Such hyperammonemia is a medical emergency because ammonia has a direct neurotoxic effect on the central nervous system. And there are two types of hyperammonemia. One is the acquired hyperammonemia, and why acquired hyperammonemia is occurred when liver disease is common cause of hyperammonemia in adults and may be due to due for example to the viral hepatitis or hepatotoxins such as alcohol. Cirrhosis of the liver may result in formation of collateral circulation around the liver. As a result, portal blood is shunted directly into the systematic circulation and does not have access to the liver. Therefore, the conversion of ammonia to urea is severely impaired, leading to elevated level of ammonia. And the second type is the congenital hyperammonemia. Genetically X-linked ornithine transcarbamylase deficiency is the most common of these disorders, predominantly affecting males rather than females. Although females carriers may become symptom as some rare chances in females. All of the other urea cycle disorders or autosomal recessive inheritance pattern, the hyperammonemia seen with arginase deficiency is less severe because arginine contains two waste nitrogens and can be excreted in urine. Hist- Historically, urea cycle defects and high morbidity and mortality. Thank you very much.
For watching our video. Please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook for upcoming videos. Thank you.